Amanda here, and today we're talking about a brand new palette from ColourPop. This is the You're Golden palette. It is a 30 pan eyeshadow palette, one of the larger palettes from ColourPop, and I'd be willing to bet this will be priced at $34 US. If you plan on placing an order for this palette, or really for anything on the ColourPop site, you can use my affiliate code. So excited. The code is Amanda. It is an affiliate code, so I do earn a commission if you decide to use it. And if you do, then thank you, I appreciate that. And if not, then that's fine too. Anyway, enjoy your shopping. Let's take a close-up look at the packaging here. There is this faux marble look on the back. This is a heavy-duty cardboard packaging. It's not plastic. There is a magnetic closure. No mirror inside, just the magnetic closure here. I know a lot of people, myself included, prefer the all cardboard packaging. Then the shade names are laid out on the back here. I point this out because this is where all the eye safety warnings are indicated, or I should say the one eye safety warning. There is but one lonely shade that has the asterisk here that indicates the shade is not intended for use in the eye area. As you can see right here, just one little shade. That's because there is one pressed glitter in this palette. There are no other glitters. There are no pigment warnings. Literally just one random pressed glitter hanging out in here. Personally, I am not a fan of pressed glitters. Just from a review standpoint and from the perspective of somebody who worked in ophthalmology, specifically in a cornea specialty. In my former life, I was an ophthalmic technician. I just don't recommend putting pressed glitters on your eye. Me saying that really upsets people for some reason. If you want to use pressed glitter, I'm not going to come to your house and take it away from you. I'm not going to call the glitter police on you. If you are an adult and you understand the risk and you remove it safely and you use the glitter glue, you know, do what you gotta do if you're an informed adult. Just for me personally, from the point of view of somebody who has a lot of people that watch their videos and who has seen many eye injuries, I just don't recommend it, and I just wish that they weren't in palettes ever. But if you love it and you're gonna use it every day and your corneas never get scratched, that's great. Moving on. So here's a look at the inside of the palette. Lots of warm neutrals here. We have one pressed glitter, 3 mattes with glitter, 14 true mattes, and then 12 just regular shimmery metallics. Now that you've seen the palette close up, let's take a look at a whole bunch of swatches. I'm going to show you many comparisons, but first I just want to show you finger and brush swatches of the You're Golden palette all on its own. Finger swatches will be pictured on top. All the swatches are done on the inside of my arm with no primer down first, just the shadows straight onto my skin. Finger swatches will be pictured on top. Brush swatches will be directly below, except for the one pressed glitter. I don't brush swatch those. They don't apply well with the brush, and I don't want to get glitter in my brush. As always, for my brush swatches, I'll be using my e.l.f. flat eyeshadow brush, and I'll clean the brush off in between each shade using my Veramona color switch. That way there's no shadow transfer between swatches. So let's take a look at those swatches now. I decided to swatch this palette in columns up and down instead of in the side-to-side rows. I think the color stories just make more sense that way. It looks to me like they were sort of put together and curated into columns. So I just wanted to give you an all-over look at the color story, half of the palette at a time, because I cannot fit 30 swatches on my arm. And then I wanted to get really close up and let you get a good long look at these shades individually close up, especially because these shades are so similar in this You're Golden palette, especially the first half of the palette, that I just wanted to give you this overview and then also make sure you could see close up the different finishes. Hopefully you find that helpful alongside the finger and brush swatches. As you can see, both finger and brush swatches are lovely across the board with this palette. Definitely the quality is not lacking. This is very, very similar performance-wise to my other ColourPop palettes, which means it's great. Now that you've seen this palette swatched, let's go ahead and take a look at some comparisons. As is always the case with these very overwhelmingly neutral palettes, there are probably 100 other palettes that would be worth comparing that I just didn't do because they're neutrals. There's so many neutrals. So many neutral palettes. ColourPop has done so many neutral palettes themselves. So I'm just gonna do a handful here that I think are gonna be the most useful and the most requested. If you had another neutral palette in mind, yes, it's probably similar to this one. So let's take a look at a few comparisons now. I'm not going to be doing swatch comparisons with the Stone Cold Fox palette. I just wanted to show you these side by side. You can see there's not a lot of overlap here. Maybe a handful of shades, but nothing significant. The really good investment of my swatch time, I think, is with the Bare Necessities palette instead. As you can see, especially this first round of swatches, the first half of the palette is incredibly similar to Bare Necessities. We do start to see some color divergence once we get to the second half of the palette, but these warm neutral tones, man, they are very, very, very similar. Is every single shade an exact dupe? No, but on the eye, I think they're going to end up looking pretty similar. The main place where these palettes differ is, of course, with these little pops of blue in the Your Golden palette. Nothing like that in Bare Necessities, but Bare Necessities does have some really pretty purple shades. Maybe I'm biased because I like wearing purple eyeshadow a lot more than wearing blue eyeshadow, but that seems to be the really main difference between these two 30 pan palettes. Now for all of these smaller palettes, I just went through and matched up a handful of shades from the Your Golden palette. That way it's a little bit more concise. You can just see the most similar shades. And Dream Street looking pretty darn similar to the shades from Your Golden, as you can see here. Next we have Double Entendre. This was really their sort of first warm neutral palette. And it is a 12 pan, but a lot of very similar shades. Not exactly the same ones, but pretty close. A lot of them are exactly the same. Next we have Limoncello. This is a favorite of mine, one of their recent 12 pan releases. And it's funny because side by side you can see that Limoncello is a lot brighter, but I think you can also tell the idea is kind of similar, this warm gold with a little blue. So more similar than I expected. This was the first palette I thought of, the Urban Decay Naked Wild West. And again, very, very similar shades. Not exact dupes, but close enough in my opinion. And same goes for the last comparison for this video, which is the NARS Cool Crush palette. And I think this is just as close to matching as the Urban Decay Wild West. Maybe not quite as dead on as Dream Street, but again, pretty close. I don't understand this palette. I mean, literally, I understand that it is an eyeshadow palette. I just don't know why. I don't know why they went in this direction. They already have two 30 pan palettes that are neutral. I'm really surprised that they didn't go with this yellow and blue color scheme, something kind of more similar to the Limoncello palette type of colors. Yes, there are some cool tones over here. Yes, there are a couple little cute turquoise blues over here. We have a very brief yellow gold moment, a very brief little coral moment, but this is a lot of warm neutrals, and we already have a lot of warm neutrals. We already have a lot of yellowy golds. We already have a lot of coral moments from ColourPop. I think that this would have been a lot better as a 12 pan palette because there are so many shades in here that are too similar. Take a look at this one, this one, this one. Those shades are too similar. These shades are too similar. The dark browns are too similar. If you swatch them side by side, are they the exact same shade? No, but they are going to look exactly the same on the eye. This is just, it's very repetitive among their line, but it's also very repetitive just within itself. I don't get it. I feel like for a 30 pan palette, it really would have made sense to do like a jewel tone rainbow type of thing. Since the So Jaded palette has been discontinued, that would have been a great addition to the 30 pan line, because So Jaded's not here anymore. We could have filled that void with a new jewel tone rainbow type of palette, or, you know, go really heavy yellow and blue. I realize that's probably not as appealing to like a mass market type of customer base, but this is just, this feels repetitive and random to me. If this had been edited down into a little 12 pan color story, it really could have been super interesting. If we cut out a lot of these warm brown, mid-tone, neutral type of shades, we could have gotten this really distilled color story that is interesting and is different. There is a good idea in here, and look, performance-wise, it's up to snuff with the rest of my ColourPop palettes. I think they're some of the best. I have absolutely no problem quality-wise with this palette, and if you don't have all of these other palettes that I compared it to, if you don't have bare necessities, then maybe this can lend something into your personal collection. But as far as the ColourPop family goes, this just feels a little bit too much for me as far as the neutrals go. I wish that we had gotten a more distilled, more refined color story, because I do think there's a little something interesting happening here. If we had just gone with the cool tones, the turquoise colors, a little bit of coral, a little bit of yellow, that idea in itself is a fun color story, but it just gets so lost in the sauce with all of these browns, and that's where this palette kind of loses me. Side note, do you remember when I did a Harry Styles golden inspired palette? Probably not, because not a lot of people watched that video. That kind of color story would have been really fun. It would have been really different. This, I mean, honestly, there's a lot of similar colors from that palette in here. Like I said, performance-wise, it's not bad. This just isn't really a hit for me, but that's just one girl's opinion. I would love to hear what you think about this palette. Are you interested in this one? Do you have a completely different reaction? You love it, you need it. No matter whether we agree or disagree, I always love to hear what you think about things too, so make sure you leave all your thoughts down in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! Why is there one pressed glitter? Why? Could have just done a cute little shimmer there instead, but no. Let's take a close-up look at the pack. So loud. Let me get my little notesies. Let me get my notes. I forgot my notes. Haven't gone on a glitter rant in a while, so that kind of felt nice. Just get one out, you know? Please stop. I thought about doing a tutorial for this palette instead of comparisons, just because neutral palette comparisons are such a pain. Those are always the videos where I get so many comments that are like, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Why didn't you do this one? Which is, sorry, I wish I could swatch every million thousand palettes that you want, but I only have one arm. I only have so much time. I'm sorry. Okay, I do my best. Just do my best. But anyway, if you watched all the way to the end and you want to know, I am wearing this palette on my eyes, obviously. I have Covet and Remote, these two mixed in my crease, and then I have these two mixed on my outer corner and my lower lash line, and then I have this shade Sandy all over, then a little bit of Bayshore, this like metallic yellow right in the center, and then on my inner corners I have Jet Set. There you go. There are 100 million neutral tutorials. We don't need another one. You don't need one from me. Unless you do, in which case, sorry. Wow. Oh, I'm exhausted. I thought I was going to be able to film one more video, but I just don't see that happening. It's already almost 5:30. I'm tired. I'm ready for some din din and an adult beverage. So I'm going to go enjoy that. Look how cute these little lightning bolt earrings are. By Mel Klein. Check her out. Thanks for watching. I love your face so much and I really appreciate it. I'm glad you brought it here. And you're just so cute. You're cool. I'm happy. I'm happy that you're my friend. Okay. Have a great day. Okay, bye. Love your face. Bye.